Chapter 6607. For Hirohiro Nishida, if he slightly offends Mitsui Yoshitoka, it would be the most disgusting thing. In that case, Mitsui Yoshitoka will use the influence of his family to make things difficult for the Yamaguchi-gumi in all aspects, such as cracking down on prostitution and gambling, and by the way, launching a wave of crackdowns on violent crimes and solving old cases, which will bring great losses to the Yamaguchi-gumi, and a certain industry may be in vain for a year. The Yamaguchi-gumi is disgusted by him. Although they feel aggrieved, they will not fight him to the death, so they will probably suffer in silence. However, if they really want to tear their faces with Mitsui Yoshitoka, Hirohiro Nishida will definitely not be afraid of wearing shoes. The Mitsui family is awesome, but he is not the president after all. Richer and more powerful than him, but he is not as brave as him to fight and kill. If everyone really fights to the death, the Mitsui family will never live a peaceful life. Once the solution to the problem is framed in the scope of violence, Mitsui Yoshitoka will have a headache. Now, Nishida Hirohiro is absolutely unwilling to give up the $1 billion. He can give up the $1 billion, but he also has to make sure that his competitors can't get the $1 billion either. Otherwise, as long as his competitors have a little hope, he will do everything he can to fight for it. Mitsui Yoshitoka just boasted that it would only take a few minutes and a few words to scare Nishida Hirohiro. But he didn't expect that he would be slapped in the face so quickly. Usually, calling you grandfather is to give you face, but you force them to take your surname and treat you as your grandson, and they will turn against you at any time. At this time, Mitsui Yoshitoka was angry, but he also felt that he was in a difficult situation. He couldn't intimidate Nishida Hirohiro, which meant that he couldn't intimidate other gang leaders either. Mitsui Yoshitoka didn't know how to respond, so Nishida Hirohiro on the other end of the phone said, "Mr. Mitsui, it's not impossible for you to ask the Yamaguchi-gumi to withdraw from this competition. The other party has offered a hidden fee of $1 billion. I, Nishida Hirohiro, am not such a greedy person. If you give me $500 million, I will naturally let all the members of the Yamaguchi-gumi stay out of it. What do you think?" Mitsui Yoshitoka cursed angrily, "Are you treating me as a victim? You asked me for $500 million, and others also asked me for $500 million. Why the hell should I give you the right to control me?" Nishida Hirohiro said, "Then if you can give me $1 billion. I can make all the members of the Yamaguchi-gumi obey you and help you protect that singer. At that time, no matter who wants if you want her life, my people will fight to the death." Mitsui Yoshitoka scolded, "Don't dream, Nishida. There is no such good thing in the world." Nishida Hirohiro was not angry, but smiled and said, "You see, you don't let me make that money, and you are unwilling to subsidize me. It is impossible for your family to occupy all the good things in the world. The tens of thousands of people under my Yamaguchi-gumi have to eat all day long, and they also have to survive. Whoever cuts off their financial resources is equivalent to killing their parents." Seeing that Mitsui Yoshitoka on the other side of the phone did not speak for a long time, Nishida Hirohiro said, "Mr. Mitsui, if there is nothing else, I will hang up first." After that, without waiting for Mitsui Yoshitoka to speak, he hung up the phone directly. Mitsui Yoshitoka was extremely depressed holding the phone. He was usually high and mighty, and it was difficult for these gangsters to see him once. And they were even more servile to see him. But he never thought that when it really came to the point, the other party would not give him a face at all. However, if he really wanted to use money to settle the matter, he couldn't convince himself to be the scapegoat. What's more, how much money could solve the problem? The Yamaguchi-gumi wasn't coming, but what about the Inagawakai? Should they pay money too? Helplessly, he stuffed the phone to his brother with a little shame and annoyance, then turned to look at Charlie and said seriously, "I've thought about it carefully, and I think Mr. Wade's way is better. These gangsters are not trustworthy. Even if they promise not to interfere on the surface, they may still shoot from behind. After all, this is a billion-dollar deal. People's hearts are separated from their stomachs, and no one can." Charlie didn't have time to listen to his nonsense and urged, hurry up and mobilize all the living forces. If there is nothing important, let's get through this first. Yes, Mitsui Yoshitoka nodded with a look of annoyance, and immediately said to his brother, "Quick, according to Mr. Wade's request, let our people block all the entrances and exits of the backstage. And at the same time immediately call all the people who can be summoned to strengthen the outer defense." "Okay, big brother." The younger brother immediately took the order and said to the bodyguards around him, "You guys, follow me." The bodyguards immediately turned around and left, heading for the periphery to set up defenses. Mitsui Yoshitoka looked at Charlie and deliberately said in a very indifferent tone, "Mr. Wade, the secret flower was just placed a few minutes ago. It's not too late for us to mobilize troops now. As long as we don't let any suspicious people get in, the danger will be greatly reduced." As he said, he couldn't help but sigh. "Mr. Wade, in fact, you shouldn't have opposed my proposal just now. If I notify the helicopter to come over as soon as possible, they will be able to arrive at the dome within 15 minutes. At that time, not only Miss Sweet, but all of us will be able to evacuate safely as soon as possible. Whether it's the Yamaguchi-gumi or the Inagawakai." "How could they mobilize troops so quickly?" Charlie said coldly, "You can just let the helicopter come to pick you up. As for Tawana, she can decide whether to take your helicopter to leave." Tawana hurriedly said, "I will listen to Mr. Wade." Mitsui Yoshitoka was annoyed. He wanted to say a few words to Charlie and save some face for himself. Unexpectedly, Tawana didn't buy his account. So, he quickly asked Charlie again, "Mr. Wade, you just said that your people are responsible for the second ring of defense. I wonder where your people are and when they can arrive?" Charlie said, "When my people arrive, you don't have to worry about it for the time being. Before my people come, we have 2 layers of defense. The outer layer is left to you, and this is left to me. You just need to do a good job of the outer defense, and don't worry about the rest." Mitsui Yoshitoka cursed in his heart. "Just talk nonsense, I made the outer defense watertight. What's the use of you having 100 layers of defense inside? You can say whatever the hell you want." However, Stella was also there at this time, and he was embarrassed to confront Charlie directly in front of Stella. So he laughed and said, "Mr. Wade, don't worry, my men are all the top bodyguards. As long as they are not a huge army, they will be there. They will definitely be able to resist it." Stella, who had been watching Mitsui Yoshitoka's performance and had not spoken, said coldly at this time, "Mr. Mitsui, I don't have much contact with you. But I feel that everything you say will develop in the opposite direction. So I advise you to do things steadily and set fewer flags.